I firmly believe that most people out there, good people out there, very successful people out there, are still short of their potential. Take the word learning and development. These are two distinct, different things. LMI is designed for habit change. That is one of the things we
Beautiful, beautiful.
wives coming and thanking us because their husband has changed.
Good afternoon, Mr. TUSSU. Thank you very much, Ashok ji, for agreeing to this interview. Now, I've known you for many years, and I see you as a person who had the daring and the guts to do something different.
Good afternoon, Sukhdeepak. Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Right from the time, when I met you, when you were running Blue Technologies, probably one of the first companies, I don't know, in the world or in India that was into AI, which was then not called AI.
Yeah, absolutely right, Sukhdeepak. At that time, AI was a distant emerging entity, and we called it expert systems. And we had a project sponsored by and funded by United Nations Industrial Development Organization to build a software for formulating competitive strategies. So it was a very complex decision-making system. And I remember at that time, as a representative of the UN, I attended and presented a paper in the World Expert System Congress held in Portugal. And those were the times that the basis for modern day AI as we know it now through ChatGPT and generative AI, they were being talked about and were known. Language parsing, neural networks, and we knew what was coming. But you're right, it was a completely different environment. But yes, those were the starting blocks of what is today formally called AI.
Yeah, which shows that you were willing to think differently and do something, dare to go where nobody else has gone. So I request you to share something about your journey. Obviously being a pioneer in anything is not easy, and one goes through challenges and everything. So I'm sure that our listeners or our viewers will learn a lot from your experience.
All right, so let me start from the very beginning. I'm a chemical engineer by professional qualification. And right at the outset, today there are many startups, many entrepreneurs. And I started my life journey as a startup entrepreneur. And I was very young and did not have formal work experience, but a huge amount of self-belief and conviction in what I can do and could do. And I set up a manufacturing plant for hormones in J&K. The reason for selecting Jammu was that the base raw material for this was available in the forest areas. And I remember getting laughed at when I think of my idea. But as I said, self-belief is one of the critical ingredients for today's entrepreneurs or me in the past. And I did set it up despite all challenges and everybody telling me why you should get into it. And at the young age of 25, I got an award from the President of India, Udhyam Shri Award, which was for technology development. I developed technologies which were hitherto at that time only available to multinational corporations. And but then the raw material supply from the forest areas stopped because of governmental policies. And so I was looking for new adventures and I found one, as you just mentioned. It was unique being selected by a UN team for developing and being the country head for that project. And
if I may interrupt you here,
sure.
What was it that made them select you?
Well, the UN had been thinking of this project, and this was very early days of expert systems or AI. And they threw out a challenge, which was a global challenge. And they selected about 50 or 60 different project ideas and had people select one of these. And there was a international conference held in Hyderabad, where people from all over the world came. So it was from the Americas, it was from China, it was from Korea, it was from, and of course, a lot of companies from India. TCS, I remember, was there, and also IIT Madras, many large Indian companies, but a lot of foreign companies had come in. And most of the people had selected one or two of these ideas, and they made presentations on the approaches and technical basis on what and how they would tackle it. So we selected a project which was on privatization, and we demonstrated a live working system, an expert system on privatization. So how do you select an enterprise, whether you privatize it or you do not privatize it? And this was a working system. So I think that turned everything around. I remember at the end, when UN selected us, because this project was co-funded by Mexico, UNIDO, and India, and a secretary handling the UNIDO desk, a deputy secretary, called me over, and he had asked UNIDO, who are these people? Why not the IITs? Why not somebody? What's so special about it? And so I went in there and I simply demonstrated the system we'd made. Fortunately, this person had spent time in the Bureau of Public Enterprises and he could see the system work. And after some point of time, he told me, stop. So I stopped and he said, I'm convinced. Okay, fine. And he approved. So that was a huge experience.
Merit has merit.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to be in always. What I've said is one part of life is dreaming, the other part is executing, and in the middle is your self-belief, self-confidence, and how you lead yourself. And when all of these come together, it becomes unstoppable.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
So then at some point, I think you were also a pioneer in bringing LMI and LMI programs to this industry, that is Leadership Management International. So would you tell us something about what made you make that decision and how's the journey be? And tell us about the program or the flagship program is how, in a way that any entrepreneur or, company CEO would understand the benefits of it.
Okay, I'll break this into 2 or 3 sections. First is LMI is one of the world's largest organizations in leadership, and particularly in performance enhancement. And it's present in 90 countries. And we today manage the LMI South Asia operations. We are in 23 locations with a huge and a certified team all over India. Now, when I finished this UNIDO project, which was a term project and not a full-term employment, I was figuring out to get a job or something like that. And I came on across LMI. And what was unique about it is that it talks of helping people achieve their potential. And I firmly believe that most people out there, good people out there, very successful people out there, are still short of their potential. They get marred up into a lot of stuff. And so that was the attraction point. LMI had been brought into India by Dr. Hiru Bijlani in 1995. I joined Hiru immediately after the completion of this UNIDO assignment in 2002. And my journey has been very satisfying. It is one of the best decisions I took in life for the simple reason that LMI is unlike anything else. So, you've been in a related field with huge success and for many, many years. If you take the word learning and develop, these are two distinct, different things. Now, most people, when they want to do something with their people, they use a single word which is called training. And most trainings are very good trainers and very good trainings also, but they end up fulfilling the learning gap. And when you talk of L&D or development means causing change. And Sukhdeepak, you think of it in this way: when you want to cause change, then the person has to change, the leadership capabilities in the person have to change. And change means the thinking has to change. Mindset change is the primary thing. Once your mindset changes, your behavior changes, your actions change. And when your actions change, your results change. So the LMI methodology is a very strong and battle-tested methodology. We have over 4 million people worldwide who have done this LMI interventions. It's a development intervention, not a training. And in India, tens of thousands of people have done through the program. And it is unique because by the time the intervention is over, there are hugely visible results generating many times the ROI on investment that are visible. So fundamentally, that is why we say we are world leaders in performance enhancement. Although our methodology is based on two pillars. One is addressing the business perspective, which is generating better results. And the other is doing this through the people perspective, which is developing better leaders. And we have worked across with very large organizations, some of them hundreds of people, over 500, 700 people have done the programs. But we have worked a lot with MSMEs. We find that the MSMEs have people who are entrepreneurs, who have led their journey because of their personal commitment to entrepreneurship. And they may not have uh, uh, tapped their potential to their fullest. Now, what does an entrepreneur want? He wants primarily three things, if you classify this in a block. They want to make more money. That is number one. They want to lose less money, means reduce costs and things like that. And the third thing they want to do is seize opportunity. And which means that you want to be in exports, then you're seizing that opportunity, not just dreaming about it. And the LMI is unique in a sense that it addresses all three perspectives. And we set out real-time live goals across the priority area of results the person desires, the entrepreneur desires, whatever their priority is. We often use a phrase, what would you like to see happen? That is possible to happen, but not happening enough. And what would you like to see in the next 6 months happen? And they come out with their priorities. And when we discuss, it's a consultation we do with them to see whether they are appropriate for this. And in many times, there are so many gaps. Gaps can exist between your intention and attainment. Gaps can exist between performance gaps. They can exist between expectations you have of people and actual execution on the ground. And we help bridge these gaps by changing people into smarter set of people. As I said, we have an exceptional success rate in what we do in terms of in terms of our process, as well as in terms of our exceptional coaches and facilitators. What do you, Sukhdeepak? Would you like to know more about any other aspect?
Yeah, specifically, just imagine that I am heading a company,
Hmm.
right? And I want to know how will this program, the investment obviously will be significant. So how
Yeah.
will this program help me?
See, there are
Specific.
many perspectives to this. There is a direct perspective which is related to results. And we invariably have their people delivering better than normal results. Let me share with you, I was just 3 days back looking through the midterm report of a particular company. They're an engineering company, MSME. Uh, they were hovering at around 200 to 50 crore turnover, doing quite well. And they decided to put 15 people in group coaching, which we do very effectively. The coaching is done over a period of 9 weeks with one half-day meeting per week. And by the midterm, one of the people, he had a report that the sales had gone up from 21 crores to 36 crores.
Wow.
So that's when I say there is a huge potential, unrealized potential in people, and we help an entrepreneur see get their people to get this potential. The LMI process works on very scientific principles. It's based on very scientific methodology, developed over a period of time and refined and updated. It is based uh, on a person getting into optimal level of working. Our flagship and the base foundation program is called Effective Personal Productivity. Now, this should not be mistaken by worker productivity. This is managerial productivity we are talking about. How well you lead and how well whatever you're responsible for is produced. And the first area of productivity gain is personal efficiency. So, Deepak, you'd be astounded to know that the average time saving or time efficiency gain per person ranges between 1 to 2 hours a day. Now, why is this significant? Is that just 1 hour a day means about 25 work hours a month, which means around 3 work days a month. And even if you take a holiday for a month, it is 33 work days, which is like getting a 13th month into your 12-month year. Now, why is this important? Is that most people, most managers, I'm talking from business heads to middle managers, they come in into their day and enter a daily transaction. ये किया, वो किया, वो किया, वो किया, evening, worked a lot and actually worked a lot and been very busy. They do not find time for greater planning, in-depth planning. Their planning is based on first glance decisions. They do not find time to empower and motivate their people to fine tune, to get all those things going that will ultimately enhance whatever they're just living through the transaction. So this time freeing up the personal efficiency gain frees you up to do all those leadership tasks that are not being done, only the operational tasks. And then each person has specific growth areas. It could be taking ownership. It could be generating higher focus. It is learning the ability to plan effectively and very quickly. It is learning the ability to be goal-led and to execute goals. Right? Everybody can set goals. So you and I are in a company and we say, okay, we want 20 crores, 30 crores, 10 crores, whatever our reality is. So it's easy to set a target. How do you execute it? So execution skills are hugely important. Most people come into a daily routine without any sense of priority. It's been said, first things first. What are your first things? Do the right things at the right time. What are your right things? So this kind of streamlines the person to a great degree. The the EPP program, which is the flagship program, first half is getting my personal act. Get super organized, nothing slipping through the cracks. Stay on top of things. And the second half is working with and through people. So that would involve communications, listening skills, questioning skills, practiced empathy. It could be delegation, but with empowerment, not just blind delegation and then micromanaging everything. And in the end, teams which are flowing, taking ownership of their roles and things like that. So it's a very scientifically designed methodology. It causes a lot of behavior change. We set 5 life goals in when we start the program. And 2 of these are personal goals because we think that people should lead not only in their career, but also in their personal life. And we have so many occasions, we have wives coming and thanking us because their husband has changed. There are many people who are doing well. I'm not saying that everybody is not doing well, but there are people who are doing well, but they have a gap between whatever success they have and the potential of success they can have. And when you bridge that gap, the ROI comes, the many X visible results, better than normal expected results, they all come. So I hope that answers that question, Sukhdeep.
Yeah, and one thing which comes to my mind is that when people get more balance into their life, I think overall well-being and health also is impacted. Have you had any input on
Absolutely.
that also?
Health, stress levels, happiness levels. We've had people who've been working 10 hours, 12 hours. And when we ask them, what personal goal do you want to set? And they say it's difficult, but I'd like to spend 1 hour with my child a day. And at the end of that 2.5 month period, they find themselves managing themselves and leading themselves so well that they have been doing it. Now, imagine this is something which can't be quantified in terms of money. Imagine the joy of the child. It's not like you're coming home and your child is asleep, and in the morning you're leaving so early, rushed, hello, hello, and done, and you have no interaction with wife. Or personal well-being is the foundation of uh, well-being in many other areas. There's a huge stress buster away when you feel personally accomplished.
Hmm. So one thing which I have noticed in my career of 35 years of training people is that, they get insights, but their habits don't change. And unless the habits change, work habits and other habits I'm talking
I
about. So
think
LMI does that, helps them to
yeah,
change the habits
yeah,
of.
you touched on a very vital aspect when I made a distinction between learning and development. Now, learning is very important. You need to know about things, but uh, you may go out there and give them 5 top ideas, but when they go back, you have no control on application of those ideas. It is left to choice or chance, and the choices are not taken, and the chances happen very rarely. LMI is built on changing habits. As I said, it has to start with how you think, your mindset. And unless that changes, because that will drive you inside, your habit will not change. And remember, many habits are formed over a long period of time. Uh, one time talking about it will not going to change. That is where the LMI's multi-session program helps. It helps them change and gain and learn from other people. So there's a huge amount of group dynamics when they see this person has used this idea and this was the outcome. Suddenly there is that inner urge and the thinking flips. So it is a process that works very powerfully. But you're very right. You may have, as you are an astoundingly good trainer, but you have no control on their habits. And LMI is designed for habit change. That is one of the things we.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Swab. Now, one last thing before we part company. Is there something you would like to say to leaders, CEOs or company owners who may be
Yeah.
watching us?
Yeah. So there are two or three things. The first thing is that with the CEO or company owner, the buck stops with you. You are in charge. You may have HR functions, you may have production functions. They are good people. They're out there doing good work. But each one of them thinks from a functional perspective. So if let me give you an example. If you are a CEO owner of a SME and you have a HR person, the HR person will be focused on succession planning, capacity building, performance management systems, high potential development, which is all fair enough. But they do not think business; they think function. Similarly, a production person will be focused on today's planning, tomorrow's delivery, things like that. There are silos. And you as a CEO are on top of the silo. When you have to induct change, something like LMI, it has to come from the top. And we often encourage people we talk to, and after they see the benefit of this, and they see that we have 50 people or 20 people we want to put in through the program, we say start at the top, start with a group of 5, 7. Don't think of everyone himself, because our experience is when this happens, and I'll give you two examples. We started our journey with a company called Saint Gobain. It's a very large company. And the first group had Mr. Santanam, the MD at that time, and now the CEO of South Asia, and I think 6 or 7 directors. To date, they're past 550 programs, and these are expensive programs, as you said. Maybe they generate ROI. That is why we get reorders of the magnitude. The other example I can give you of a world client of the year, we had a Schwingstetter, a smaller company in comparison. But again, the first group was a group of 7 people, including the MD and directors. So first start at the top, and there don't get influenced by somebody's opinion. You want your business to make more money. You want your business to attain its potential. You want your business to lose less money. You want to seize opportunities and empower yourself. That is the first message I'd like. And sure, maybe if somebody's interested, they can call us, or we can go and explain in detail so that they understand what's happening. But at the first instance, start with yourself. Often they think that that person is not doing the job, that person is not doing the job. This is a game in LMI between you, where you are, and your potential. And even for a CEO, if they are here, which is very, very, very good, their potential is here. So let's break out towards that. And once they experience the process, we have found invariably they will put in more people till it makes sense to make that investment. That is why it happens. That's the sharing from my side.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your contribution. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sukhdeepak. Pleasure being here. All the best to everyone who's listening to this.